Every time I get a referral of somebody going through divorce, or I get a call by someone going through divorce, and they want to sell their matrimonial home, I'm always asked, what's the difference between a divorce real estate specialist or versus a general real estate agent? They say, can't any realtor just sell my house? Or why do I need a divorce real estate specialist? In fact, even realtors who aren't specifically trained as divorce real estate specialists often don't know the answer to that question. And that's because, well, they don't know what they don't know. Now, this might come as a surprise, but selecting the right realtor, and one who's not only an excellent realtor with skills and knowledge and the right fit for you, but also who's a divorce real estate specialist, is more important than any other professional that you hire through your divorce. No, I'm absolutely not saying that because I'm a realtor or a divorce real estate specialist. But if you think about it, your lawyer, your insurance broker, your financial expert, your therapist, all of the professionals that you might hire all work for you and only you, not your spouse. Your soon-to-be ex has his or her own team of professionals for their own independent advice. When you hire a realtor to sell your matrimonial home, the realtor is the only professional who's not only selling your single largest asset, but the only professional you're going to work with who works for both of you, not just one of you. And that's why it's critical. Now, a divorce real estate specialist doesn't only have training and experience in real estate. They also have training and a lot of experience in strategic negotiations and human behavior and psychology. And they have additional legal training as it pertains to real estate and the legal obstacles of selling a matrimonial home, and of course, unwavering integrity. Now, there are many differences in selling a matrimonial home in divorce from a typical real estate sale. In this video, I'm going to talk about just 12 of the many differences that a divorce real estate specialist must know and has to know and be good at, and why a divorce real estate specialist is so important, in fact critical for you if you're selling your matrimonial home in a divorce. Number one, there are key differences in how I market your property, not only to find potential buyers in a marketing plan like any other realtor would have, but also marketing in such a way as to not divulge the fact that you're getting divorced. We don't want potential buyers knowing that. Number two, there are key differences in how we stage your property. Not just typical staging so that it looks pretty and sells quickly for lots of money, but again, staging it in such a way as to hide the fact that you're splitting up and it's a divorce sale and not divulge that fact. Believe it or not, as a divorce real estate specialist, I've even trained some stagers on the unique aspects of their business and the strategies of when they're doing staging jobs to stage a home in a divorce sale. Number three, legal knowledge as it pertains to real estate and selling a matrimonial home in divorce. From properly understanding the need of where and when spousal consent is required or not required, to what constitutes a matrimonial home, because you can legally have more than one, believe it or not, to understanding other key legal implications and remedies like right of possession or responding to and obtaining court orders to help with the sale if your spouse is getting in the way and things like that. Number four, different explicit instructions that I have to give my office staff and my own personal team, along with different guidelines that they have to follow for divorce listings and divorce sales and the unique circumstances of each client situation, such as sometimes dealing with two spouses who can't get along or can't agree, or one might try to undermine the other, or they both might try to undermine each other by using the real estate process to show they're in control. Again, people have strategies privately with their own lawyers, but when you're together trying to sell the house and the house is the largest asset, very often the house becomes a tool in the contest or the fight for control between two people. You'd be surprised at how many of my past clients and other realtors I know who've had past clients have gone behind our backs to manipulate my personal assistant or my receptionist and secretaries to make changes to listings, to make changes to listing instructions, to make changes to all sorts of details. And they go behind my back and behind their soon-to-be ex's back because they want to control everything, which is, of course, not good, not legal, and I've implemented systems and strategies to make sure that both of you are protected and everything is safe and above board. Number 5, there are negotiating differences. For example, what would your realtor say when a buyer asks why you're selling? And buyers or their agents always do. Your realtor can't admit divorce or you're vulnerable to a lowball offer. And if realtors aren't trained in answering that question, sometimes they're caught off guard. A certified negotiator not only knows how to hide seller motivation, but also uncover buyer motivation so that we can get more money for the sale of your house. And when necessary, believe it or not, deal with other emotional variables which might arise by any of the parties involved, which might hinder or affect the negotiations of the sale of the house. Number 6, document backups and more detailed, in fact, meticulous note-taking. Often I've had to sign affidavits and I've testified in court or provided a detailed account of things that have happened during my dealings with one or both spouses or upon showings. All sorts of things have come up. And you need meticulous notes to give to lawyers or to use as evidence and things like that. Normally in a typical real estate sale, a realtor doesn't keep notes of everything. In divorce sales, and especially complicated divorce sales, very important to have meticulous notes backed up and organized. If the realtor isn't trained on what's important to keep meticulous notes about and how to keep them organized in case they're needed by lawyers or courts or social workers or parenting coordinators or family practitioners, it can be detrimental to you, the client. Number 7, dealing with a variety of possible court orders that might exist and apply to the sale of the home. After many years and countless transactions where I've worked hand in hand with family lawyers on behalf of my clients, I've had to learn so much to help my clients that realtors who don't specialize in divorce sales simply wouldn't have the opportunity to have access to that knowledge and learn that knowledge. The result could be costly mistakes or deals that fall through at the last minute on closing day, which actually happens, believe it or not, more often than you hear about. Number 8, different protocols with regards to typical things realtors do, like for sale signs on the lawn or postcard marketing to your neighborhood to advertise your property, or open houses and not having open houses. I've even had many clients ask me not to put a lockbox on the door. Sometimes they don't want a lockbox because they're worried that somebody else is going to come through and take something because they know it's a divorce. Other times it's as much as the kids. Now here's something else they don't teach us in real estate school, but I've learned through years of experience, is it's not just a real estate transaction, but you always have to consider how it affects the kids, especially depending on the age of the kids. So I've had many listings that I've sold for couples going through divorces, sometimes very complicated divorces, but the day the sign goes up on the lawn, or the day the kids come home from school and there's a lockbox on the door, the kids have a meltdown or freak out or whatever the case may be. Sometimes they're scared of strangers coming through their bedroom, or they don't know what to expect, or they don't want to part with the home. And these types of things that we normally use to market your house can trigger psychological and emotional effects. So as a divorce real estate specialist, we need to know how to market and sell your home successfully for top dollar, while also knowing what can affect the kids and how to work around that. Number 9, sometimes a client wants me to be present for all showings, not just the buyer's agent as in an ordinary transaction. Normally you put a lockbox, a key, and nobody else can come in your house unless their own buyer's agent comes with them. But very often in divorce scenarios, with no signs on the lawn and other circumstances, if one spouse doesn't trust the other spouse or whatever the case may be, They want me to actually be there for every single showing. And of course I do that because that's required. Number 10, the most recent increasing specialty or part of the specialty is knowing how to deal with narcissistic personality disorder and narcissistic soon-to-be exes who try to sabotage the sale of the home. I know, you probably can't even imagine this. It's happening more and more often when couples will hire a realtor, yet one of the spouses really has no intention of cooperating with the sale. For the time being, one spouse thinks the other spouse is in agreement, and they hire a realtor because realtors aren't paid up front. But one of the spouses might have an ulterior motive. In fact, if they have characteristics of NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, I've had several clients where we list the house and then one spouse interferes with possible showings and showing requests, or they show up and interfere with buyers who are there with their own agents, and they interfere with showings and all sorts of things. And they do this for many reasons. You see, when you deal with your lawyer or anyone else, you don't play games because you're paying by the hour. When you hire a realtor, we only get paid once the house sells, and we're not paid based on the time that we spend. So if a spouse was the lower income earner or wants to stay in the house and delay the sale for their own personal gain, or the other spouse is paying all of the taxes or mortgage or whatever have you, they're essentially living for free or very low cost compared to what they're going to have to pay once the house sells. So there's lots of reasons that they'll try to delay the sale without admitting it, just to spite the other spouse who wants to sell quickly and cash in. I've seen firsthand the ways a spouse will try to manipulate the sale. And more importantly, unlike a general realtor who doesn't have training as a divorce real estate specialist and knows how to deal with these circumstances, I know how to deal with the lawyers and the cooperating clients so that the spouse who is trying to delay or is interfering with the sale can't succeed in their abusive interference. There are ways to protect you, and as a divorce real estate specialist, I need to see these, head them off, and deal with them so that you don't get hurt by it. Number 11, maintaining equal and fair communication to both parties, both spouses, even though they might not live together anymore. And one might be more difficult to deal with than the other. Like I said, you're both my clients. Now, if you watch my other video on this channel called Expensive Mistakes That Divorcing Couples Make When Choosing a Realtor, in that video I explain how sometimes realtors who aren't divorce real estate specialists might choose sides. And other times, they don't intend to choose sides. They really don't. But due to human nature, they gradually start communicating more and more with the spouse who's cooperative and easygoing, and they communicate less or not at all with another spouse who might be irate or confrontational. There's more very helpful info in that video, so I'm going to put a clickable link to that video down below this video in the comments section here on YouTube. I encourage you to watch that one. My previous point that I just finished explaining also leads nicely into number 12, which is having the training on how to avoid temptation to choose sides, and more importantly, remain unbiased to both spouses from start right through to finish. It's very important, very difficult for realtors who aren't trained to do that, whether they're just avoiding conflict and dealing with the easier going spouse, or whether they are vulnerable to choosing sides because someone has given them a sob story, to all sorts of other things. And especially if you choose a realtor who's a relative or friend, that can be also detrimental for those reasons, among others. So that's why you need a divorce real estate specialist, someone who is not a relative or friend and who specializes in all of these obstacles that a general realtor may not know how to see coming, how to handle, how to deal with it. Remember, when it comes to real estate or divorce or any other part of your life, any process in life, if there was a better way, wouldn't you at least want to know about it? If you're curious about the market or the value of your home or real estate in general, please click on the red subscribe button. I'm always adding market updates, statistics, tips, and strategies that will definitely help you one day. And if you have questions about this video, or buying or selling or mortgages or investing or renting, the real estate market in general, or selling a matrimonial home in divorce, or anything else real estate related, please send me an email, give me a call. There's no obligation and it's strictly confidential. I just love to talk real estate. And before you forget, please click the thumbs up button right now. It's confidential, nobody will know, but it will help this video circulate to other people who have the same questions and concerns and can learn from it. It's confidential, but it'll really help. So please click thumbs up, click on subscribe, and thanks for watching.